Hey, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another live stream vid. I just hope everyone is doing well on a very, very busy, if not probably a hectic Wednesday evening. Probably right now it's Thursday morning for some in other territories or time zones, I should say. It's still barely early in the evening here in the West Coast of the United States, where I'm from. So just wanted to get into it because there's a lot to talk about. In fact, a lot of breaking news today that I need to catch up on. So very interesting stuff. It actually started off with late yesterday, but I'll get into that news that broke yesterday too, along with today's news, all sorts of news that is. But before I lead off with this live stream, I want to give my heart and my condolences to Grant Hill and his family. If those of you who don't know Grant Hill is is a former basketball player who led to the Duke Blue Devils to national championship during his days and days in college, and he had a great career in the NBA. Though he never won a title. Did he win a title in the NBA? No, he never won a title. No. But he is one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Overall, one of the greatest basketball players that ever stepped on the court. But anyhow, he had lost his mother today, Janet Hill. And just a quick trivia: Janet Hill was actually Hillary Clinton, who those who may not know. Hillary Clinton, the former First Lady, United States Senator, Secretary of State, and two-time U.S. presidential candidate. His mother was her roommate while they went to Westland College together. So that's an interesting fact to share. But anyhow, my condolences and my heart goes out to Grant Hill and his family for a very difficult time they're dealing with. So rest in peace to Mrs. Janet Hill. So let's get into it. Oh, you can't hear me? How about now? You can't listen for too long, but I'm here. All right. Thanks, man. Thanks, Tony. Thanks. What's up, Mala? So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to chop into it real quickly while you guys are here. So let me just go into my thoughts on the Usyk Joshua 2 presser. Well, I mean, it's kind of predictable. You know, Usyk came in relaxed, very joyful, very focused and composed, and Joshua himself was pretty relaxed. But I don't know, something it's just he gave me this impression during the presser that either he didn't want to be there, he doesn't care, I don't know. But yeah, he didn't seem like he didn't want to be there. He seemed it's like you know, his I don't know, it just seemed like his head's got caught in the deer lights, as you want to call it. I don't know. It just this vibe seems not saying negative, but it just seems like he was low on energy. I don't know, maybe because he's not getting too much sleep, or in other words, not enough rest. I don't know, but he really got to get plenty of rest because he's got an important fight coming up this Saturday. So and there's a load of pressure, a mountain pressure for him to win it. So maybe the pressure is getting to him, and I don't know. I don't know. But anyhow, what's unique about that presser is that during the face-off at the presser, Alexander Usyk came in with the presser with a robe, some type of clothing, and it's actually, from what I've learned, it's it's a traditional Ukrainian robe that soldiers wear during the time of battle. And after the presser, after the face off, when Joshua just, he said a couple of things to him, to Usyk, and then he left. Usyk and he was singing a song to the crowd, a Ukrainian, war song. And, of course, he had his camp there singing along with him. And then in the crowd, you had a couple of AJ handlers who were trying to scream out AJ during the middle of the song, but that didn't work because they were drowned out by Usyk's loud voice and presence, and of course, along with his handlers. But after Joshua walked off the stage, he was greeted by one of the media members for boxing media, I believe. He asked him, the reporter asked him, "What did you say to Usyk on the stage?" He said, "Well, I wish him good luck." That's all I said. I was like, "Okay, cool." And then they had a face off on the outside of the venue. Of the building where they have the final presser. just one thing you got to understand. I think Joshua should have gotten this by now. You're not going to intimidate Alexander Usyk. You're not going to get over him where the mind games is concerned. You got to let that go. Now, this is like the fourth time or fifth time that Joshua tried to show Usyk that he wasn't intimidating, that he was the boss. Again, Usyk was just looking at him. He didn't care. He just looked at the guy. He just looked at Joshua. Was like, dude, I beat you already. I dominated you in our last fight. Why do I need to be afraid of you this time? So, and Joshua, of course, looked away. I'm not saying that wins that will help you win a fight, but sometimes mind games are more telling when how the fights play out. So yeah, very interesting stuff, man. Very interesting. I mean, it was a tame presser, as Mala said. Shout out to Mala in the chat, Tony and MJ. He says, "Look, I really looking forward to this fight on Saturday." Yeah, we all are. We all are. But quickly transition now because there's not too much to say about that presser other than the fact there's nothing out of the ordinary. It's pretty much the same as the first two pressers. Pretty much. The only difference is not the only difference. Usyk actually owned all those pressers and the stare downs. He's owned all four of them. Or all three of them, I should say. The fourth one, the final, the weigh in, that's going to be on Friday. I mean, come on. That'd be interesting because we want to see exactly how much Usyk is going to weigh in. So is Joshua, too, because he looks a little bigger than he was from his last fight. And to me, that's a bit of a mistake if he's coming in over 240. I know some would beg to differ, some would disagree. But to me, I think that's going to be a problem. And another thing, too, I wanted to show you guys a clip real quickly, though. I'm not going to I'm going to show you some just highlights of Alexander Usyk's fight against Joe Joyce in the WSB back in 2013, I believe, or 2012, which is a semi-pro competition in the amateurs. So yeah, I'm going to show you something, and the reason why I want to show you this is because don't be surprised if Alexander Usyk does this to Anthony Joshua in their rematch. I want to show you this, okay? Give me 1 second. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, let me share my screen. Okay. Let me share the audio. Well, actually, I probably don't want to share the audio because I might get in trouble. So let me go back and stop sharing and turn back off the audio. Give me a minute. Yeah, Hamed. I mean, literally, that's the attitude I got from today's presser, man. It just like Joshua is like, dude, just get this over with. If I win, I win. I lose, I lose. He doesn't seem like he's happy about the whole process. I think it's all stems from the fact that he's got way too much pressure on him to win. More pressure than he's ever felt before. I think this is more pressure that he's felt ever since the Klitschko fight. Maybe the Klitschko fight. Yeah, this is way more pressure than he's ever seen before. I guess because during the Klitschko fight or leading up to it, I think that pressure is a little different because he was still a novice in a way as far as the world champion is concerned, given the fact that he skipped British level all the way up to world level. I mean, not British level. He skipped European level and went straight to world level from his domestic level. So if he had lost that fight to Klitschko, would there been some bit of backlash? Maybe, but the criticism wouldn't be too harsh because some people say, you know what, he wasn't ready. It is what it is. But now, what's up, Dwayne? Give me a minute. I'll send you the link. But now it's like, dude, it's like, with all the, with all on the line here, it seems like he just can't handle it because he got outclassed. He got dominated by one guy who's a very skillful fighter who's been around the block for many years with over 350 amateur fights, who's beaten everybody that he's beaten. So it's like, how do you, how do you overcome a guy like that, who could fight you and beat you in many different ways? I'm going to show you this real quickly, guys, before I get you in. I'm not going to share the audio because I don't want to get in trouble. So here's this fight right here. Alexander Usyk versus Joe Joyce in the this is at the WSB, the World Boxing, World Series of Boxing, right?
From Poland, final instructions, 5 3-minute rounds. Shake of hands and good luck. try and show us why he's an Olympic champion with those skills that he's got.
See right here? See, Usyk is actually, hold on. You probably can't, you guys probably can't hear me. Hold on. Hold on. All right, let me stop sharing for a moment because I need to share the audio because I realize I got to share the audio so you guys can hear me commentate. So let me go ahead and turn off the mute on that video so that way I can I don't get in trouble. I'll just go ahead and play the video while you can listen to my listen to me commentate real quickly. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this. You see how Usyk is starting, establish his position in the ring in the first round, trying to figure him out real quickly. You see Joe Joyce is trying to pounce on him early. Oh, you see he caught him with a quick counter when Joe Joyce tried to come in, right? See, Joyce has a good work engine. Yeah, his punches are kind of, pretty much, yeah, he throws them in very weird angles. It's not very tech savvy. We get that. But the thing is, he has a great work rate. He has a high volume. He has a great cardio, for a guy his size. But Usyk right there, you see in the first round, yeah, Usyk realized from then that I can't box this guy from the outside. I got to take it to him. Yeah, you see that Joe Joyce is trying to pressure him early on, right? But he did. You see that he gets the sense that he realized, okay, this guy's not going to start punching. If I stay on the outside, I'm giving him more of a chance to beat me or knock me out. You see? Okay, so yeah, Joe Joyce, not the cleanest work right here. He is getting some success. He's just flailing at Usyk, and Usyk is holding on to him, so he's coming back. He's trying to establish position a little bit. Okay, he caught him with a good straight left. Usyk's covering up, so he's circling around a little bit. But I think what his strategy is that he's getting him to waste his shots, right? So now you see he gets a sense that Joe Joyce is kind of getting spent a little bit right here, right? So Usyk's still fighting back, right? Now he's walking forward because he realized that I can't fight this guy from the outside, so I got to take it to him. So he did this, even though this was these are 5 rounds, right? He realized that he had to close the gap against Joe Joyce and not stay on the outside. He had to fight him either in mid-range or try to get smother Joyce's work and beat him to the punch. Exactly what he's doing right now. You see, Joe Joyce is getting a little confused when he's getting backed up because I don't think he wasn't used to this when he was fighting in the WSB. What I'm saying is, the reason why I'm showing you guys this is because don't be surprised that Alexander Usyk does this to Anthony Joshua when he backs him up the whole night, get him to waste his shots, particularly his power shots, where he's going to fatigue and he's going to get, not only mentally drained, but he'll be physically drained because of the relentless pressure and the work rate of Alexander Usyk of making him work from the back foot. And by the way, Joshua is not as effective fighting on the back foot, especially when he's being pressured. But if you give him a little distance, so that way he gets extension on his punches, then he could be a little effective. But Usyk more likely will close the gap on him. And he did show some of that in the last round of that fight, or in some parts of the 11th round when he pressured Joshua and moved him back. So you see what he's doing right here. He's maintaining his position in the ring. He's closing the gap. He's still beating Joyce to the punch. And Joyce is trying to come. Well, actually, this is the replay. I'm sorry. Replay of the second round. Okay. Yeah, see, Usyk has taunted Joyce in that second round, telling him to hit him with his best shot. So it seems like he could take his punches, his power. Well, that's a replay of the second round, I should say. So here's the third round. You see Joe Joyce is getting exhausted now because he wasted all his punches in that second round. And Usyk is backing him up because he realized he's got him where he wants him. Jab, right to the left jab to the stomach. Covering up, beat him to the punch again. Ooh, damn, that's straight left. See, Joyce made a mistake trying to throw that uppercut from outside from the outside, which is very dangerous. Ooh, down with body punch by Usyk by the left. He's covering up, backing Joyce up. He realized he pretty much ain't got nothing left. He's just wailing with his shots because he's tired. Joe Joyce, that is. Ooh, good. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Caught him with a good right coming in. Another left, see? Watch this combo coming in. Ooh, see? 4-punch combination, 6-punch combination by Usyk. Round 4. And by the way, Usyk won all the rounds in this fight. Joe Joyce didn't win one round. And by the way, this was in London. This fight right here, this was in Joe Joyce's hometown. This was in his backyard. Yes, it's WSB, but in a tournament like this, Joe Joyce being the hometown guy, Usyk to come in and dominate him like this in his backyard and win all the rounds. You see, he's backing him up. He realized that Joyce ain't got nothing left to come forward. See, he's just welling his shots. There's no snap into it at all. Again, the reason why I'm showing this is because this is what Usyk could do. He could get Joshua to waste his shots early on, and then trying to early on, and then once he realized that Joshua was tired, he's going to press forward and take him out. And by the way, he used this strategy when he fought Michael Hunter too, because he realized early on that Michael Hunter had so much success from fighting on the outside and was being very effective with his counters. So Usyk had to close the gap early on. So the thing about Usyk, he realizes very quickly where things may not go his way. He's going to have to adjust, he's going to have to adapt and make adjustments. He does that on the fly, and he does it very well. So yeah, that right there. I just want to show that to you guys because don't be surprised if Usyk, would do that to Joshua Saturday night. Don't be surprised. Yeah. You can rebut this, Dwayne. Yeah, I'll get you in, but yeah, I wanted to show that because, again, I'm not saying that Joshua may not be successful as Joe Joyce, but don't be surprised if he does that to Anthony Joshua on Saturday night. Ahmed says that Joyce was a tougher style matchup than Joshua, in my opinion. He probably is because he's more durable and he's got a great work engine and he's got great cardio. But even him with a great work engine and cardio, you saw how Joyce faded because he wasted all his shots in the second round trying to get Usyk out of there. That was a mistake. He's like he threw everything at him in that second round. And Usyk, being very defensively good and being the tactician that he is, he blocked all those most of those shots, and he dipped and he outmaneuvered him. And then when he realized that Joyce had nothing left, he took it to him. So, yeah. Let me go back here. Steve Bunce, yeah, we already talked about the Steve Bunce one. MG says that Usyk had a tougher time against Chisora than he did with Joshua. Yeah, obviously it's two different styles. I mean, Joshua doesn't fight like Chisora. So, I mean, Chisora, we all know his style is more of a come forward pressure, very good head movement on the front foot. Slow with his hand speed, yes, but he's that type of guy who relies on his durability to get him through fights over the years. So, yeah, I know Dwayne disagrees with me, but okay, I'll bring Dwayne on so he can chop it up and offer a rebuttal. Yeah, give me a second. In fact, you guys could chime in too, Hamed, if you want to get on. Anybody could chime in. Oh, come on. Joshua will push on from round 3 and in the first 2 rounds. He will be cagey. It could be. Hamed says that Joshua is going to have to throw the kitchen sink early on. Yeah, that's the only chances he got. That's the only chance he got, because if he does that, if he's not successful, then that fight is over. He's gone. He's lost that fight. AJ needs a fast, hard jab. I mean, he needs to throw it with authority to have any chance against Usyk. I mean, if he can't control the range, Usyk will stop him this time. Well, you know what? Joshua always had a very good jab. And, he doesn't get much credit for it. But the problem is that how good of a use of a jab if you can't land it against a guy, especially a target who doesn't stand still? He's not going to stand on the way of that jab. He's going to keep moving his head. He's going to keep giving you angles, and he's going to give you upper body move, especially on the front foot, where you don't have time to throw that jab. You don't have time to think. You're just worried about finding a way to counter this guy. So, it's ideal, yes, but if Usyk doesn't give you time to throw that jab, then it's no good. So, yeah, jab to the chest, that's ideal. Yeah, I think that'd be more effective, but let's just hope they can use that strategy and going into the Saturday. What up, Wayne?
Yo.
Yo, what's happening, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm just getting off work. I thought I'd go over, a lot of things because I know there's a lot of breaking news today. But I know since you're on, we could talk about we could talk about it. But first, I know you want to offer a rebuttal, so let's hear it, man.
Yeah, so first of all, obviously, I don't know who I'm picking for the fight in it. Obviously, I want Joshua to win, but
Fair enough.
it's unlikely. Um,
Yeah.
but the reason why is because it's okay. So Usyk's put on weight, right?
Right.
He's a bit bigger now.
Right.
And what one thing Joshua said, which was really key, was, and I went back and watched it. The first fight, Joshua hurt him to the body quite a few times actually in between round 4 and 7,
Right.
and I think maybe that's why Usyk put on the weight to be more durable. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So uh,
Yeah, you're on mute, man. Kind of lost you. Go ahead.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Go ahead. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So now the one thing I'm worried about is with that weight comes extra power, and will Joshua be vulnerable to counters when he goes to the body?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know
so
what?
that
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go.
No, it's an interesting point that you brought up. Yeah, yeah. Ideally, he should go to the body, but what I did notice in that first fight, yes, he had some bit of success, and you can ask yourself why didn't he follow up with it, especially after the eighth round when he had some very Usyk with some big body shots in that eighth round, and you wonder why didn't he follow up, and I think the reason why he didn't follow up is because Usyk not only it feinted him out of position to throw those shots, but whenever he got close it was either he got countered before he could throw the shot, or Usyk covered up so well where he dipped his knees a little bit and he planted his elbows in a position where Joshua couldn't really hit him in that area. That's what he did. That's the adjustment he made. So and because of that, and and Usyk going back out and fade him out of position at a distance where he wanted him to, that's what fatigued Joshua not only physically but mentally. So it's just like I said though, it's like when he knows Usyk knows that where this things are not going the way he wants, he adapts very quickly on the fly, and that's what's so unique about him. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes he doesn't need instruction to adapt to adjust. It's like
Mhm.
he knows how to do it on his own. Yes, Vitali, not Vitali, Anatoly Lomachenko, Papachenko gives him good instructions, but it seems like he already knows what to do before he's given the instruction. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So that's what makes him scary. I mean, not scary is like a Mike Tyson type of scary type of guy, but it's like that's what makes him dangerous. It's like God damn, it's like whatever you throw at this guy, it's like he always has an answer for it.
Well, the thing is, when I watched the first fight, I think the one thing that um what Joshua thought was Usyk likes to start off slow when he fights, right?
Right.
So in the first round, you saw the first punch when the bell went. The first punch he hit Joshua with a straight
Left. Yeah.
left, and that threw Joshua off completely, isn't it? Because then
Oh
all of
yeah.
a sudden Joshua had to, because the pace Usyk put. That's why Joshua was gassed in the 11th and 12th. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So the thing with Joshua is the one thing that has me worried is he's shown me a tendency to. Oh, other than when he fought Usyk and Andy Ruiz the
Yeah.
second time, is when he hurt them in the fight, he never pushed on
Right.
because he was worried about getting countered.
Oh yeah.
Now, now, obviously for him, this is sink or swim in it. So I could see it being like he hurting Usyk, and then you see when Joshua gets you hurt, he goes kind of wilder crazy. Like he starts
Yeah.
forgetting everything, starts swinging in. But then against someone like Usyk, I think it's gonna make him think twice of doing that. So
Yeah.
when people are saying, "Oh, AJ has to win on point. AJ has to knock him out. AJ has to knock him out." I disagree. I just think what AJ can't do is admire his work, because in the first fight, that's what he did. When he hurt Usyk, he never pushed on. Like he just admired it and let Usyk just maneuver around the ring.
Yeah.
And and another thing that I'm worried about is he doesn't know how to cut off the ring. He's too
Right.
flat-footed to cut off the ring against somebody who's got great footwork like that.
Yeah,
You know what I
especially
mean?
as a southpaw. That's the
Yeah.
thing too. You know what though? Look, maybe there's a little bit of a disagreement there when you said that he hurt Usyk, but he didn't push on because he admired his work. I kind of disagree with that. Maybe there is some bit of respect there, but to me, if that was the case, then Murat Gassiev would have been the first guy to beat Alexander Usyk. And the reason why I say that is because Murat Gassiev, if you watch that fight, that was the final in the WBSS, right? Where Usyk became the undisputed cruiserweight champion, right?
Hmm.
So I think it was the 8th round, and Usyk was dominating that round. Well, he was dominating the first half of that round, and Gassiev was coming back with some good shots, particularly body shots. And then in that end of that round, close to the end of that round, Gassiev kind of slipped Usyk's jab. He slipped a little bit, and he came in with a quick, powerful straight right. And he hurt Usyk badly with that shot, right? He
Hmm.
hurt him so bad that Usyk went back to his corner. He luckily that was about the end of the round when he got caught with that shot. He went back to his corner and he was yelling it to himself because he realized he fucked up by getting careless. But what I'm saying is that Gassiev knew he was hurt, but when Usyk realized that this guy could hurt me, I gotta be careful now. What did Usyk do? He didn't allow him to throw that to land that punch again. So what I'm saying is that when you believe you got Usyk in trouble, he's not gonna allow you to repeat the same thing that you've done to him. He's not gonna allow it.
Yeah,
So what
yeah,
I'm saying is that if
but
Anthony Joshua wanted to knock him out, he would have if he had the chance to do it, but he just couldn't
no,
do
no,
it.
but what I'm saying is that if you look at the fight, yeah,
Yeah,
even it was the same. The punches that AJ caught him with was with the lead right that
right,
he caught him with, and you see that's why Usyk had all those marks on his nose and all that stuff. But the thing with AJ, like I said, is with him,
right.
it's like if you're not buzzed like where your legs jiggle
Wobble.
on that,
Yeah,
he's not going to, because obviously he, in the back of his mind, he's thinking my chin, my equilibrium. AJ's he's an overthinker. That's the problem that he has. He
right.
doesn't He's an overthinker, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
the problem that he has in this fight is that when he goes to the body, he's going to be so suspect to his temples being uh, available, and we know Usyk likes to come round with them hooks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what worries me.
And
But
that's the thing about that too, because Usyk is very good at disguising his hooks. You don't know where angle
yeah,
he's throwing those hooks. You don't know where they're coming, because
and
the
and
first thing
and
you're
and
thinking,
and
I'm sorry.
and one
Go ahead.
sorry, and the one thing I will notice it, I noticed this when I watched him fight Tony Bellew. He can make the same adjustment, like when he throws his straight shot, he could throw the hook like it looks like it's coming the same. That's how he knocked out Tony Bellew, because if you saw in the first few rounds, he was throwing it straight and Tony Bellew was slipping. Then
Right.
what happened was he went to throw it straight and Tony Bellew went to move his head, but he came round with it. The exact same
Yep.
technique, but he came round with it. That's how it knocked him out.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, he made the adjustment. Instead of throwing it straight, he threw it. He looped it because he knew, because that's when Tony Bellew couldn't see it coming. He couldn't have
Yeah,
looped that punch, and that's what got him knocked out. You're right. So,
I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know, man. It's to me, it's just it's a tough fight to predict, because I think Usyk coming in heavier. I don't know like whether that helps AJ or it doesn't. Do you understand? That's the question mark for me. If he came in the same way as before, I
uh-huh.
probably would have said Usyk win on points, because I know Joshua would have got. And people have been saying, "Oh, Joshua looked in his public workout like he looked like he was sweating, and he looked tired and all this stuff." I was thinking, really? Like, do we really like look at these public workouts and think, you know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
yeah. Look, here's the thing though. Public workouts are public workouts. You don't want to exert yourself in a public media workout. That's the norm. I get that, but it is kind of alarming to me, and I point this out myself. And shout out to Tim Witherspoon. You know who Tim Witherspoon is, a former two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He made a video about this not too long ago. He observed some red flags in that media workout. One of the red flags is that, to me, yeah, him being exhausted after a 3-minute session, that is kind of concerning to me. It's supposed to be light. You're not really supposed to exert yourself in that session. Number one, I don't know if he was trying. It didn't seem like he was exerting himself, but if he wasn't, then him getting tired like that, that's a problem. Number
mhm.
two, number two, he's still upright. He's still stiff. He's not cutting off the ring, and yeah, that I don't know, man. Maybe they're trying not they're not showing us what that we're that we're not privy to as of yet. That's possible, but it's hard to believe that because that's always been a problem with Joshua in his fights, especially from a technical deficiency standpoint. So I don't know, man. I mean, look, I guess we, you could say we're reading too much into it, but there's still lingering technical deficiencies that are still there that Robert Garcia is supposed to correct. Maybe he could correct them, but I honestly, I'll maintain my position on this one. I'll probably be proven wrong Saturday night, but I think this was a mistake for them to go into this rematch. I think Joshua should have forgone it. Get some good, confidence building fights in. So that way, if he's confident enough, he's melded in. He's what's the word I'm looking for? He's gelled in with Garcia and his technique and his training methods. Then he could go back in with Usyk. Just like Holyfield did with Riddick Bowe. I mean, he didn't immediately take the Riddick Bowe rematch. He waited a year. He got like a one interim fight in or two before he took the rematch, so that way he could get gelled in with a new trainer. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. What's up, Ahmed?
Yeah, but the one thing I will say as well is that who is he gonna fight in that division that's gonna help replicate an
Usyk?
Usyk style?
That's a good question.
You know
No
what I
one.
mean? Like,
Yeah, out of
okay,
Wallin.
at that time when Riddick Bowe had fought Evander Holyfield, Evander Holyfield could have sparred many guys that fought like Riddick Bowe.
That's
If we're
true.
being honest,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But Riddick Bowe didn't really have
No,
nothing
but
special.
You want to
God,
go ahead, man?
yes, yeah, yes, Dad, yes. Thanks for having me on. I won't be on too long because
Okay.
it's a bit late, but I'm off work, so I was gonna say I was listening to both you guys talk. Yeah, I understand that you can't get someone to replicate Usyk's style, but AJ was saying he said that Southpaws are a nightmare to fight, but he's only fought, I believe, two as a pro. So, of course, Otto Wallin would have been at least a good barometer to see how he does against other Southpaws. Because let's be real, Charles Martin didn't really even come to fight. He got hit and he kind of laid down.
Yeah.
And the other fight was Usyk, who I thought decisively won at least 8 rounds. I had it 9. I think you could go one round even wider. Maybe 10-2 is a bit wider. But the thing is, in that fight, AJ did not have much success outside those 2, I think, or 3 rounds where he was landing body shots. But my point is this: if AJ had some of Chizora's fundamentals and some of his maybe not fundamental, I mean some of his stylistic character, like the way he could absorb punishment and keep coming forward
Durability.
with
Yeah.
durability, chin, whatever, all the toughness. With that size advantage, I think he would win, but he doesn't have that, and he doesn't have the boxing acumen or skill set of a guy like Tyson Fury, who's just as big, arguably. I think he's bigger. Well, he is bigger actually because he's 6'8" or 9,
Yeah.
and I know he's got a lot of fat on him, body fat, but Fury is like, what is it, 270, 280? So a guy moving at that big, like moving like that, he could maybe offset and beat the Usyk, potentially or arguably in
yeah,
some people's.
but
But I
but
don't know if AJ's got the outside the power department, because he doesn't really use his size. Like, what does he do well to actually negate some of Usyk's stuff? Like, I think the only way outside the controversial decision that AJ wins is if he clips him. But the body would be a good idea, but if he goes to the body and leaves himself open, he could get counted as well, and he could get stopped as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Good points. Good points. Dwayne, you want to go ahead and chime in on that?
well, first of all, with Tyson Fury is a bit of an anomaly because the
Yeah,
thing is, for how big he is, you're forgetting he's got the biggest reach, yeah, and on top of that, he smothers your work. So when he's leaning on you, that's why I said with Wilder, the only chance Wilder could have beat him was in the first fight because that was when Wilder was normal Wilder. He didn't think that Wilder had to try to negate Tyson Fury leaning on him and all that stuff. So he put on weight. That's why Wilder, you saw after round 3, he was fucked. He was
Yeah.
gassed. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
but no, I agree with all that. But what I'm trying to say, just in terms of look, when I watched AJ fight live against Parker from not too far from the ring, there was a lot of things I picked up on, and that's where I actually thought Wilder Fury Usyk, all these guys could beat him, and I thought Usyk was style-wise was all wrong for him. As long as he beats, I think he was meant to fight Gassiev a couple of months later, which he ended up schooling and shut it out. The thing is not even being as good as Fury. Like if you look at his footwork, and as someone who sparred like with some very good amateur fighters, you could see he's very slow and ponderous on his feet. I know that's not his fault because he picked up boxing quite late, but we're talking about this fight where he's fighting a guy who's been fighting his whole life, who's way more skillful and technically better. So I don't even know if he'd have to be say as fast or as fleet on his feet as someone like Fury, but say if he had some of Vladimir Klitschko's technical ability, or a couple of other guys I could maybe think of that maybe not the most technically skilled, naturally.
No, but what I wanted to say though, yeah, when I watched everybody's got their own opinion of how they score fights or whatever.
Yeah,
I think Usyk beat him like by rounds. I don't think the rounds were so severe that he beat the shit out of AJ like in round 1, 2, 3. Like I just thought is for every one punch AJ landed, Usyk landed 2. That's how I looked at it.
Or 3, yeah.
Like, yeah, or 3.
Well,
it wasn't
that's
like
the first 6-8 rounds. From round 9 to 12.
So I had the first 3 were definitely Usyk. For me, round 4 was debatable. I gave 5 and 6 to AJ. I think I gave another round was round 8 or 9, and the rest I gave to Usyk. But it wasn't like the scores were wide because for every good punch AJ landed, Usyk landed 2 or 3 more than him. Do you understand? It wasn't like he beat, like he completely smashed.
Well, it was a competitive fight. Yeah, I agree. I let Dan chime in as well.
Yeah. I was going to say though. I was going to say
Dan,
though.
can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Obviously, look, none of us are saying that it was Mayweather Canelo. Like we all agree it was a competitive fight. AJ had its moments. Was it some of those mid rounds? You could argue he won up to, in my opinion, up to about 4 rounds. If you want to give him
I gave him no more than 4, but I gave him 3. I didn't give him.
But he clearly lost the fight, like 9-3, 8-4, whatever, decisively. But if you watch the fight from round
9 to 12, yeah, he was getting hit a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
He
Joe
was.
even said he wasn't just getting outboxed; he was getting beaten up, and he almost got stopped. The thing is, we got to also take into account Usyk didn't want to take any risks or chances early on because he's fighting a naturally bigger man. Like, why would you even do that when you're more skilled and you could actually outbox him? And then down the stretch, you could try.
So don't you think now the weight that he's put on is going to have an effect on him a little bit?
But AJ
he's only gaining. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll let you get in because I don't want to cut you off. I'll just say one thing. AJ said that the only way he could win is KO. And some of his interviews, I don't know about the post, was it the workout, but his body language looks a bit off. Like, and if he thinks the only way he could actually win the fight is by knockout, that means he's gonna take risks. And I think Usyk knows that if he could hurt him, he wants to try and actually put him away. Because last time I think Usyk was a bit too light to actually stop him. So if he's a bit heavier, it depends how much it is. He could maybe get the stoppage because if Usyk hits him hard and he's got a bit more muscle on him, he could maybe take AJ out or take him out to the point where the referee will just wave it off.
Yeah, I was going to say though, but as far as the weight is concerned, I know everybody's all fixated on that, and yeah, that's fine, rightfully so. But I don't see him come no more than 225, maybe 226, but I don't see him coming up to 230. I really don't. If he does come in at 230, maybe I'll be shocked. But the one thing we overlooking a little bit is that Joshua looks a little bit bigger himself. He looks like he's above 240 today. I mean, maybe the camera or the lighting, it was a little bit may have fooled me or something like that. It's a kind of I don't know.
No, I was gonna say I just think the weight with Joshua is it's gone into a different place. Before, when Joshua first started and we were saying his bodybuilder, the weight was all up top. It was all in the shoulders
and the legs.
Yeah. Now I think the weight is just transformed somewhere else. You know what I mean? But in terms of when I keep bringing up the weight with with Usyk, the reason why I say that is because with when Ahmed was saying, "Oh, Joshua doesn't look on it," blah blah blah. If we're being really honest, let's just keep it real. We'll keep it real honest. Everybody's gonna change their mind now and say this, but we were all saying this when he was gonna fight Andy Ruiz. If we're being really honest,
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Oh, if he loses," they said the same thing. He should retire. They said, "Oh, we think
Oh,
Andy Ruiz because Andy Ruiz." No, no, I'm just keeping
okay,
it
go
real.
ahead,
Like
go ahead. Yeah,
we know all Usyk's better than Andy Ruiz. That's what I'm saying. But we're
yeah,
saying that Andy Ruiz has got fast hands, so he can counter AJ. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? We all thought, oh, he could potentially lose. Do you understand?
yeah,
So,
No, a
so
lot of people were saying that, but I didn't say that because even though I didn't rewatch the Andy Ruiz fight, to me, AJ lost that fight more than Ruiz won it. That's not to discredit Ruiz, but to me, AJ, the minute he dropped him, his game plan went out the way, and he thought he could just walk through Ruiz like Wilder walked through Dominic Brazil, and he was made to pay. And it showed he is chinny as well because I think overrated his chin a bit. I thought he had a better chin than both Fury and Wilder. But after that fight, I gotta say, you could argue Fury's chin is definitely better, but you could argue Wilder may have a better chin. I think that's debatable because AJ did take a big shot from Klitschko, but
well,
Wilder when he gets hit, he does manage to recover. And to me, it seems like AJ when he gets hit, he stays hit for a while.
yeah,
okay, but okay, I would agree with that. However, I just think AJ has very weak equilibriums because I've seen AJ get clipped on the chin, on
Yeah,
his actual chin where his goatee is. I've seen him get clipped there against Klitschko. I've seen him get clipped there, but it's all. If you look at all the punches that have rocked him, was to the
yeah,
temple. Dillian White, the left hook up high on the head. What's his name?
yeah.
Andy
That's a good
Ruiz
point.
up high on the head.
Povetkin,
That yeah,
Povetkin hit with a real,
Povetkin.
yep,
Yeah, Povetkin up high on the head. Anywhere on the chin below his nose, I think he's all right. But if you when Klitschko knocked him down up high on the head, the side of the head, it was all up there. If you look in when AJ gassed out in the 5th round against Klitschko,
yeah,
Klitschko hit him with a hard left hook onto his chin. He took it.
yeah,
I just think it's the equilibrium up top. And with Wilder, I can't really say that because Wilder, he's only fought really one big puncher, but he's very slow. And that is Dominic
I
Brazil.
for Ortiz, I think Ortiz was a big puncher. I know Ortiz didn't have the resume,
Uh,
but
I don't
Ortiz
know.
can.
I
I
think
don't know
Ortiz
this.
hits harder than he hits. He's a big puncher. He hit. I think to me, I know Tyson Fury had. It took a lot of work for him to get Wilder out in those two in second and third fight. But Ortiz is a big puncher. He knows how to land those shots precisely. So
I think Ortiz's punches are more effective in knockout in terms of
One punch
counter.
knockout. But
yeah,
I
he's
think
one
Fury
punch
hits
knockout
harder.
artist.
I think Fury hits harder. This is subjective, but to me, it seems like Fury got more weight and because he
Yeah,
puts more
he's
weight. But
260.
I do think Ortiz hits harder than arguably Andy Ruiz. And Andy Ruiz did knock out AJ.
I just think with Andy Ruiz, it was just the speed because they say punches that you don't
Yeah,
see.
his speed
Yeah,
is
it's
what
just the
accumulates
speed.
But
power.
Yeah.
Ruiz can't crack. Yeah, he's not the biggest puncher. I agree. I would not call him a quote unquote puncher, but he can punch.
I
But
just see
Ortiz hits hard.
I just see this fight going like um I could just see this fight going. AJ for the first 2 rounds he'll be cautious. Then what he'll do round 3 he'll push on
Yeah,
to probably about round 7, and then from round 7 out that's when I will know whether AJ will win the fight or will lose the fight.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
I
yeah,
don't think Dan.
well,
Sorry, I just want to say one last thing. I don't
yeah,
think AJ paced himself too badly because I remember speaking to I think it was Intangible Boxing, and he was even saying AJ actually paced himself not too badly, like because he didn't gas out quote unquote until the last round of the last round and a half where Usyk put it on him. But at that point, it just showed Usyk's stamina was on a different level, and
No,
AJ
but
just could.
but
No,
if you
but I'm saying
notice in that fight,
this fight,
AJ
if he
threw a lot
fights,
of arm punches.
yeah.
That's the
Oh, he got tired. But I'm saying,
yeah.
to me, it didn't seem like the guy was fatigued or gassed out. Like I've seen him in some other fights where he's only like 6, 7, 8 rounds. Like the Klitschko fight, it looked like he was gassed out by the 6th or 7th round. I know he got a second wind and he came back, but the Takam fight, he's even the Ruiz first fight. He's actually shown bad stamina in a lot of those fights. With the Usyk fight, until the later rounds, was the 11th to 12th round. I don't think he paced himself that badly. Like I know the game plan wasn't that good. That's why he ended up losing. But For me, for this fight, I think he has to try and change something. If he wants to take more risks, that is going to leave him more open. But I mean, the old attitude is like, is he willing to risk to actually win the fight more than
Yeah,
just
I think
Okay,
that.
to
but
survive?
Yeah,
this
let
is
me get in
how
for a
I can
second,
look at.
Dwayne. Dwayne,
Yeah.
let me get in
Okay,
for a
sorry,
second.
go on,
Yeah,
Dad.
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, then you can come back. But yeah, let me just say this real quickly. At this point, I know all of us are coming up with any type of analysis on how he should win the fight, which
Yeah.
is kind of jarring if you say if you ask me, because I never seen this done for one fighter than anyone else. I'll be honest, I never seen that before. But maybe in the past it has, but but anyways, my
Not
point
that,
is that
not this level. Then.
you're not this level, yeah. But let me just say this: I think, and someone brought this up to me, is that we all know that Joshua cannot beat Usyk at a fast tempo pace. He cannot do it. He cannot keep up at his pace at all. So he's going
Yeah.
to have to find a way to slow the tempo down. And honestly, I don't believe that can be done. So the only alternative he has is that he's got to go for broke, like Wilder did against Fury in the third fight. Wilder knew what he was up against. He knew he was outgunned, so he had to take risks early on. That's why he was throwing so many punches in that first round, which I thought he should have done. But I thought he had paced himself a little better. But he was just going for broke.
But
Um,
Wilder's mistake was then he came in 240. I rewatched
yeah,
that
that
fight
too. Yeah, that too.
couple
And I was
of
not happy about that. Yeah.
yeah, you told me. I remember I was telling you because he came in 230 for the second fight, which I thought was bad, but
Yeah.
that's your absolute max. You cannot because he was even getting gassed out in the second fight. I know he said he had some other problems, but 240 that was too much. Like I
Yeah, but
think
that's why I said
Wilder's
that.
weight should
That's
have
why I
been
said
220.
That's why I said Fury's an anomaly because he had to find a way to negate Tyson Fury leaning on him.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no,
the
but
thing.
he doesn't need to come in that heavy because he dropped Fury in the first fight and in the third fight. I think in the first fight 250, Wilder hits hard, and someone was saying Fury I think said it himself as well. Wilder is not a natural heavyweight, so I don't know why he was trying to do that. Because look, the point is in the third fight he drops him hard, heavy in the third of what was the fourth round I
Fourth
think,
round. Fourth
and
round.
then he knocks him down again. I know that was arguably at the side or the back of the head, whatever.
I think that
Anyway,
was
he
a
put
tempo shot. Yeah, if you
yeah,
look at
he
the
puts
replay.
it. No, I don't think it was at the back of his head. I rewatched it. I would not have probably called that
Yeah,
knocked up, but Fury did put his head, I think, in some sort of.
hold on.
Oh,
But if we're being honest, the first fight Fury had Ben Davison in his corner. Fury was only avoiding Wilder's punches. He wasn't really. He caught him with a couple punches, but he was just
Backing off.
making Wilder miss. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
just making Wilder miss. And when he got Sugar Hill for these two fights, what he did was he'd attack and then lean on him. That was the style.
no, I get that. But we're not. I'm just arguing about Wilder's mindset. Like coming in that heavy, bench pressing 300-400, that did not make that much of a difference because Fury showed that he could get up from Wilder's power, whether or not Wilder's 230, 240, 220. Wilder hits hard because he showed it in that first fight at 220 or 250, whatever, even in the last round. So to me, Wilder's mistake was in the third fight just the weight. He got that completely wrong. Like that was just a very bad mistake because
Yeah,
he dropped
I
him. He
agree.
dropped
I
him
agree.
heavy.
Yeah, because when he's at 220, 220, maybe 224, he's got speed, he
Yeah,
got agility.
Dominic Brazil, then that was a
Yeah, he's
good
got
knockout.
athleticism. He should have relied on that, but it is what it
Yeah,
is. But yeah, but to the point is though, going back to the original point, it's just like it's hard to figure out to determine how Joshua can win this fight. It's just like we're giving so many critiques. Even Tim Witherspoon offered critique, but it's like nobody can figure this out from the looks of it. It's like, you know what, we all gonna have to find out Saturday night what Joshua can do. But me personally, I don't know, man. I just don't think it's gonna be enough. Whatever adjustments he's got, Usyk got to answer for it.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Fury is the only one
Some
that can beat him, man. If I'm being honest, I just don't think anyone else could beat Usyk. Fury might be the only one, but I don't even think. I don't. It looks like a lot of people are saying Fury might not beat him. I don't even think Fury is that confident in himself. We'll see what happens after the fight, but Wilder, maybe before the second or third fight,
Yeah.
he was a big puncher. He would have had a chance, but right now, I don't know. I would not put money on any of these guys outside Fury. I think
Yeah.
Usyk's that good.
if
Yeah.
Luis Ortiz was 30, he'd be able to beat him.
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, that'd be a tougher fight,
It would
but
be. It
I think
would
Usyk
be.
would have beaten him
It would
anyway.
be.
Yeah, Usyk would have beaten him anyway.
It's
Because
just
Ortiz,
that
the thing about Ortiz is that
Luis Ortiz footwork will let him down.
yeah, he doesn't have the fastest feet, and he has cardio problems too. So Usyk would capitalize on that. So, but you know, speaking of Usyk though, you know he's always spars with heavyweights, even when he was fighting at cruiserweight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. And look at the sparring partners that he had. Dude, them motherfuckers was big. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah, they are big. But I don't
Um,
think Usyk is that small. Like some people make it when he was moving up. Some people are making it out. There's like a massive size difference. My only
he was
thing was
he was a
the
big
AJ and
cruiserweight.
Fury maybe. Yeah, he was a
Yeah,
big cruiserweight. Like
yeah,
he wasn't same size of Garcia for some of those other guys.
yeah.
I like I said, me. I just think I've got. It's one of those ones where,
This
yeah,
guy,
I'm just like,
he's nervous.
I'm like, no, I'm not even. I'm nervous. Like, I'm just trying to think because the thing with Joshua, like I said, his mindset is so poor. Like, like, like even when they asked him, "Oh, what do you think?" You're the fighter. What they're not. They're asking you the questions. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that. It really bothers me when he does all that. He cares
Well,
too
he
much.
said that the
Think.
Parker fight. I asked him about the prediction. Sorry, bro. I just want to say that I don't know if AJ. I just think AJ needs someone like Vigilante. I know Vigilante is not the greatest trainer. A lot of people criticize him, but he is a psychologist and he's a boxing trainer.
Yeah.
He helped Khan. I think this guy may have been one of the few that may have helped AJ improve. Like Rob McCracken did not do a good job. Like a lot of people were defending him. I said it from the get go. I think he should have got rid of him after the Povetkin fight. Like because
Right.
he was starting to what's the word? He
Regress.
was regress. Yeah, that's the
Regress.
one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was
Yeah.
regressing. It was regressing very
Yeah,
bad.
you know what? Speaking of trainers, just to change shifts a little bit. You know, I'm not sure if you guys peeped his interview today with Joshua's co-trainers with Angel Fernandez and Robert Garcia.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I'm going to share my. You know, I got something to say
So
about
it,
that.
was that the one when he said that if I have something to say, then he would listen, and then if he has something to say, I would listen. We don't want to put.
Yeah,
We don't want to put. Listen, I'm just gonna say, if I'm AJ, yeah, I'm just listening to Robert Garcia, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That guy's already confused, man.
listening
I
to
didn't.
Robert
I've never
Garcia
heard that guy speak before.
because the thing is, from the training videos and obviously what we get to see and what we've seen, what Robert Garcia is telling, what we've seen from AJ in the training videos that I've seen is like, especially when Robert Garcia was like, no, don't worry about the head, just go to the body or whatever. It sounds more educated. No, I'm just saying, it just sounds more educated than when I hear this Angel Fernandez speak. Do you
fair enough.
understand? You know what I mean? It just sounds
Yeah,
more educated. It sounds like it's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? It
yeah,
makes and AJ. The thing with AJ, he's a very stubborn guy. He's a very
yeah,
stubborn guy. So when people say, "Oh, AJ, you need to do this or you need to do that," he only listens to what people think about his performance. He doesn't look at what he needs to do to be better to make that performance better. He
yeah.
he looks at the end product afterwards. You
Right.
understand? That's what he
Yeah,
does. So
yeah,
with that interview, when I saw it, I was like, "This thing's a mess, man." I was thinking, "This thing's a mess."
yeah. And, you know, that's the
Mess.
thing too, because the first thing, you know, the first question that was asked, and I think Robert Garcia, no, not Robert Garcia, it was Angel Fernandez. He led off with the answer. The reporter asked him straightforward, "How confident do you guys feel about going into this fight? Do you feel how confident? You feel confident you can win?" Angel Fernandez answered, "Well, you know what? We are doing a lot of things, this, that, and the third." He didn't even answer the question. It's like, and the way they were approaching it, they were asked several times, "How confident are you?" It's like to me, it seems like they're not sure if they can get this, they can pull this off. In fact,
Yeah,
Angel
but
Fernandez,
because the reason, and this is why I said that, because AJ's mindset. Do you understand? That's what they say. Like even in one of the interviews, Angel Fernando was like, "I'm trying to bring the old AJ back. I'm trying to." You see, he didn't say I have. He said I'm
yeah,
trying to. So that's why I feel like they're not confident as they are, because at the end of the day, it lies with the fighter. If you
yeah,
don't have, you could do all the training in the world, but if your fighter doesn't have the right mindset, or he's scared or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because to AJ, think about it, if you're AJ, you're listening to the people outside. You're hearing this guy's a master boxer. You can't box him. So that's like basically taking your left arm away.
oh yeah,
The only way you could beat him, is by power. So then that's like basically saying that, all right, cool, you've got to
well,
amputate your
yeah,
right arm.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. You know, it's funny too because not only that, you even got your promoter in your ear and telling you, putting a lot of pressure on you. It's like,
Like
dude,
it
you
can't
get.
go 12 rounds. It can't go 12 rounds.
Yeah,
See,
exactly. I'm like, you don't need your promoter doing that shit. Do you let him?
see?
Yeah, you gotta let the trainers do the talking. You know what I mean? You don't need to put that type of pressure on him. I know it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot riding on this, but now he's gonna be like, you know what? I don't need all this pressure. I'm already getting paid. I got a lot of money. Why do I need to risk myself getting impaired? I mean, the guy's better than me. I try to fight him. You know, the first fight he schooled me. He bust my ass, as he said, quote unquote.
Mm,
Pause.
yeah.
You know, that's what
Yeah.
AJ said. That was his exact words. He
Yeah.
bust my ass. But you know, but the
But
fact is like, dude, it's like so much unnecessary pressure, in my opinion. Yeah, there's nothing wrong putting pressure on certain fighters to perform, but I think some of it is unnecessary. When you go out and tell the public he's got to get him out in 6 rounds. Other than that, this fight cannot go 12 rounds. He's got to knock him out. I'm like, yeah, we know that, but you don't need to tell everybody publicly that's what he's got to do.
yeah,
But at least have someone in the corner like who's giving you what's it called, accurate advice. So that guy, like, look, I don't really know the guy too well. I heard of his name before. I haven't heard too many interviews, but he sounded a bit confused. And in the first fight, there was a documentary a couple of days ago that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Dethroning the King or something like that. On
Yeah.
Sky Sport. I watched that.
oh yeah,
AJ
yeah,
had too many voices.
Yeah.
That was a good documentary. Too
yeah.
many voices, and one of the guys was like cheerleading because
Joby Clayton.
one. Yeah, he
talk-
kept saying beautiful. Even in the last show, so
Brilliant.
AJ
Yeah,
was saying that, yeah, brilliant. Was it beautiful or brilliant? Something.
brilliant.
And
Brilliant.
AJ was saying he didn't even know he was down. Like, that's concerning for this fight. I personally don't think Robert Garcia may not have been the right choice. I mean, look, I might be proven wrong because
Yeah.
someone, I think it's Hatman or someone was saying that he has improved fighters like Maidana, who's not. I mean, you can't compare him and AJ like two different completely fighters, but he has shown to improve some fighters rapidly and quickly. But to me, it just seems like, why do you need two guys in the corner? One would have been enough, just Robert Garcia, because AJ has mental and psychological problems, which
Facts.
look is okay because we're all humans, we all have
Yeah.
flaws and problems. But as a boxer, recently a lot of these guys have been coming out saying mental health has been a factor. I don't know why you'd want to confuse it even more with having Robert Garcia and that Fernandez guy. Like, you should have sorted this out. I don't think it's been
Yeah,
properly
but you
dealt
know,
with.
AJ, he's this is what I said, that his mindset is all wrong, because AJ is the type of guy. If,
He's too
say,
nice,
for
I
example, just for example, say you're the elite trainer, yeah.
Mhm.
AJ, just say Ahmed, you're the elite trainer, and AJ
Yeah.
AJ's been Dan has been AJ's best friend since they were like 12.
Yeah.
Wherever he goes, he's like, all right, cool, but Dan has to have a say.
Mhm.
That's how he is. That's exactly how he is.
It's just risky, I think. I understand,
that's how
but
he
like
is.
it's just risky. Like, at least, like, I agree with Dan. At least you should have had then maybe a tune-up bout with someone like Otto Wallin, because you're just going into this, and Eddie Hearn talks a lot of smack, man. Like, I don't know how so many people are big fans of the guy, but he was just going off. I was listening to the Steve
No,
Guns
the
interview.
one
No,
thing
he
I
was
respect,
saying stuff. Look, he made it a bit more entertaining, but he was just going on about AJ getting respect and all this. But then he was saying stuff like with the B-side in this fight, like, and he's making it a lot about himself as well. Like, at the same point, you gotta kind of like Dan saying, you gotta ease up on the pressure. Like, you're not
Yeah.
really gonna help your fighter if you're putting
no,
that much
no,
unnecessary
but
pressure.
if there's two good things I like about Eddie Hearn, the rest I hate. Yeah, the two things I like. If he's your promoter, yeah, number one, if we're being honest, Eddie Hearn changed the way fighters get paid today. Other than Floyd, Eddie Hearn, for all these fighters that get paid, Eddie Hearn helped influence that. You know what I mean? That's
It's a
one.
money thing, though. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
just the actual
yeah.
fight,
But
though.
then
That's not gonna help. Like,
the second thing is he actually defends his fighters that, like, you get criticized. So, like, for example, it's true what he said today was, why is everybody saying when AJ fights, or if he loses to this guy, he needs to retire? Daniel White has how many losses? Derek Chisora has how many losses? They still fight. Do you understand?
yeah, I agree. Look, don't get me wrong. I didn't disagree with a lot of things. It just, to me, it seemed like Eddie Hearn was trying to make it too much about him and the matchroom and all that. Like, that just ease up a bit. Like, I think you're partially to blame of how that fight with Ruiz, all that unfolded, because first Eddie Hearn was saying that
Yeah, he
they
put
don't want to
pressure on
go.
him to win by knockout, innit?
No, it's not even just that. All that, but he was saying stuff like, we're not going to America to fight Wilder. We want to fight in the UK. All that, blah blah, whatever. Then they end up announcing 2 dates at Wembley. Then they cancel that. They go America to fight Big Baby. That whole mess happened. Then he pulls in Andy Ruiz. Like, to me, that was a very bad thing what he done to his fighter. Like, you kind of threw him under the bus, and then after in the interview, he's kind of taking digs. His AJ's dad was gonna like beat the guy up. So
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Eddie Hearn needs to chill a bit, man. Like, to me, it seems like it's too much about the money.
Oh, Eddie Hearn, man, that guy is too funny. And the thing with him, yeah, you know what I found out the other day? I didn't know this, Dan. You might have known this, but apparently he paid Jerome Miller full in advance.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
What the
I'm like,
fuck?
what in the hell?
Oh
What
my
were you
god.
thinking doing that, dude?
He
I
paid
mean,
him full purse in advance. So the guy basically conned you like a thief. If you really
Well, I
think,
didn't either. What the hell?
he was
first of
like,
all, you should have made that ironclad when you made that payment. Okay, I'm gonna give you this advancement, but I can revoke this advancement should you fail a drug test. You have to agree.
Yeah.
You should have
It's 'cause
gotten something.
you know why? Because when he got $1 billion from the zone, he was just splashing that out.
Yeah, he had no filter. He had no
Yeah,
oversight on that spending, and that's
yeah.
what he fucked
Then he
up.
gave Mikey Garcia 7 million and stuff like that. I was thinking, what the hell is with this guy, man?
And I
But
said, and I said a while back, those are red flags and all that spending, out of control spending with no oversight, man. And I criticize PBC for that too. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
Yeah.
And the fact is, it's caught up with him now. Let me be fair to Eddie. Eddie's under a lot of pressure from his bosses at the zone, particularly Leonard Bavacny. You guys know that Bavacny had to bail them out by ejecting $4 billion because they were not on track on paying back their debts, and they were close to going, from collapsing, going under. So he had to
Bankrupt,
save them.
didn't he?
You had to save them, and
why, that's
because
why
of
they
that,
view
they
now.
have a micro budget where they can't spend so much, and that's the reason why a lot of fighters have to leave Matchroom because there's no money for them. He has no money to allocate to get them fights and get them dates.
See, and
So
now he has to go pay-per-view, and he told me
Yeah, but Dan,
pay-per-view was dead.
No,
yeah,
Dwayne, you're right, you're right. But Dan was right about this. He said about this pay-per-view years ago. I thought they'd only do a one-off or two, like say Canelo Golovkin or Wilder, AJ or something like AJ Fury.
yeah,
But the fact that they put Bivol, Canelo, now Conor Ben and Eubank, like, I gotta say, this DAZN, whatever adventure, what they're trying to do, cut pay-per-view out, it didn't work out. I think maybe, I do think the pandemic had a bit of effect, but like, what they've done recently has not been a good look. Announcing that record-breaking deal with AJ, and then DAZN have not even got the rights, and now they're just putting anything on anyone on pay-per-view. Like, I don't think that Conor Ben and Eubank fight is a good look because a lot of people I've seen in the UK are saying they're unsubscribing because what are they even getting the value for when you got to
yeah.
pay per view now for Golovkin, Canelo 3 as well on top? Like, you're literally doing the opposite of what you set out to do. Like, you're going against your word. It's not a good look.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good look, man. But you know what, dude? I mean, it is interesting to see what's going to happen Saturday night. Uh, the weigh-in is going to be definitely telling because we're all intrigued to see what weights both fighters come in. Usyk particularly, but I'm kind of eager about Joshua because he looks a little bigger, and I think going over above 240 is going to be detrimental to him. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit, guys. Real quickly, what's been announced? Oh, somebody else come in. Who is this?
Hey, bro. Nice to see you, bro.
Hey, nice to see you,
Listen,
man.
yeah,
Who's
man,
this?
all day long. My name's Phil, bro. I'm from the UK. I
Oh,
just,
you?
I,
Don't
yeah,
they call you Pigeon?
I'm the Mr. P man, bro.
Ah,
Mr.
okay.
Pigeon, bro.
What's up, man?
Listen, bro. This fight is gonna be lit. It's either one or the other. It's do or die. So, like, is AJ gonna go for the knockout? Is he gonna hold back? Um,
Um,
this is a crazy fight, bro. It's a
yeah, I
crazy
mean,
fight.
it's gonna be a crazy
What do you
fight. I
think's
mean,
gonna happen, bro?
you know what, man? I maintain my position. I just think that I just
It's
think
very
that
difficult.
yeah,
It's
I just don't.
impossible.
I will just say this. I think Joshua will make some adjustments. I mean, that usually fighters who are on the losing end of a previous fight in dominant fashion, they do
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back in a rematch doing a little better. But I just don't think it's going to be enough. And the reason why I say that is because Usyk is a guy who's been around for so many years, who's had a great deep amateur background, beating a lot of guys that we've seen on
Yeah.
world level today, and is going back to his cruiserweight run. He dominated everybody there. A lot of killers, by the way. He dominated them except for
Hmm.
Marius Bridas, and then now here he is at heavyweight, and he's used to fighting bigger men. He's done this
Yeah.
all his life. So
Yeah.
Joe Joyce and the Junior Falls and the WSB days. Spars with heavyweights on, for a living when he's in training camps. Even at cruiserweight, he was sparring
Oh shit!
heavyweights.
What's going on with the
So
connection, man?
yeah. Oh, you
Yeah.
haven't connected with you?
Yeah. It's not too bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you. But let me see. Let me see, because I know I'm on Wi-Fi on my other device. Let me see if that kind of clears it up. All right. Yeah, I took my other device off Wi-Fi. But yeah, I just don't think. Let's see. Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
right,
Peace
man.
out, Ahmed. But yeah, I just don't think. I just think Joshua will probably have a little bit of success early on, maybe the first
Hmm.
2 rounds or three at best. But after that, I don't think he's winning the fight.
I think it might go a lot closer than what people are thinking.
Uh
I
huh.
think that I don't think that Anthony Joshua is necessarily going to get blown out. Like I had the first fight to Usyk, I predicted that he would win.
Yeah.
I actually had the first fight a Usyk stoppage in the 11th, but
Hmm.
but he looks quite lean at the moment, Joshua. But the only thing that's worrying me about him is his mentality, bro.
Yeah.
Um, it's so off. It's so off.
Yeah, it's to me it's kind of like, you know what, I'm here. Let's just get this over with. I don't care if I win. I don't care if I lose. I got paid. I got a lot of money in my bank. I don't need this unnecessary pressure because there's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure that's on him to win this fight. And it's, to me, part of it's unnecessary because you got his promoter, Eddie Hearn, out there, who
yeah,
I criticize and respect at the same time. But
yeah,
you
yeah,
got him going out there telling everybody there's no exceptions. He's got to knock him out no more than 6 rounds. He's got to knock him out. He's got to do this. I'm like, okay, well, relax, relax. He knows what he has to do, but don't put too
yeah,
much pressure on him. Then you got other people telling him, no, you can't do this. You got to do that. You got two trainers. To me, it's a bit of a confusion, a bit of a disarray. Angel
yeah, yeah,
Garcia and
yeah,
Robert Garcia. I mean, not Angel
yeah.
Garcia, Angel Fernandez and Robert
I
Garcia.
know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like this Fernandez guy, like Joshua had to sort of clear it with him whether he was okay with Robert Garcia. That's too much craziness,
Oh
bro.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
That's
like, dude, you're the
oh.
you're the fighter. You make the decision. You don't need a clearance. I mean, yeah, you can get input from the fight, from the other co-trainer, but you still make the decision. You do what's best for you. You
I
know what I
don't know
mean?
what's going on with his career. I really don't. I think he's sort of a manufactured fighter,
Yeah,
but he's sort of beyond being manufactured. I actually think. Do you know my opinion on AJ?
yeah,
After he won the Dylan White fight, he should have got rid of everybody and just disappeared by himself.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
I yeah, 100%. I think he's been held back. I think all these hangers on have been detriment to him.
Yeah, I just think, you know what? Look, here's the thing. I just think what it is that when you have a lot of yes men in your corner, especially
Yeah.
if you're successful, you're used to that. You're used to people looking up to you. You're used to people following you around. It's something you've never been accustomed to when you're growing up. You're a
Uh-huh.
star. You're a celebrity. People adore you. They respect you all over the world. You got a lot of followers on social media. It just makes you feel very comfortable and very lax in a situation that in an area that you don't want to escape. You
Facts.
know, so
Facts.
it's just, and Deontay Wilder, my favorite heavyweight. I criticized him for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
too, for being too lax, being too comfortable in an area that he's
Too
so accustomed to.
comfortable. And
Yeah,
that
just
that was
like
that yeah, man, and that's the problem with Wilder as well. He got
yeah,
into a sort of these guys, they sort of get into these relationships with these trainers and listen, they deserve all what they get if they get beat because
right,
what why you're there because of you. You're not there because of these guys. You're the one that's doing the work. You're the
right.
one that's in the gym. It's not the trainer that's getting you there. Like this JDS thing and all this stuff, and then after the Breland thing, and then like you got Joshua with all these trainers. Then you got this idiot Tyson Fury, this moron. Yeah, well, it's all crazy. It is crazy. It's all crazy, though, isn't it? It is all
Yeah,
crazy. They are they are ruining the heavyweight division. When did you ever hear Evander Holyfield ever go through this shit, bro? Come on.
And
Oh, bro.
what's
I'm
funny?
gonna sack Lou Duva. Fucking. Well, what's his name? Riddick Bowe. I'm gonna get rid of fucking Lou
Eddie
Duva. Come
Fudge.
on,
Yeah.
bro.
You
Come
know what?
on, bro.
What's funny about that? You know what? When the guys change trainer, they change trainers. That's all it is. No hard feelings. It's just business, right? I got to get better. I got to do what's best for my career.
Yeah, yeah,
Back then it was kind of no nonsense. And I remember a time that some people, when I was growing up, and I came up around, obviously I'm an '80s. I was born in the '80s, but the
yeah,
'90s
yeah,
were in my era. But I can tell you, man, back then, there were some people who criticized the '90s heavyweights. They thought that, oh, this is a weak era. Yes, Tyson is
yeah,
back. Yeah, I'm like, okay, these guys are no good. But it's like, okay, I guess because they were all stemming on the fact that Tyson just got out of prison. Some people felt he
yeah.
wasn't going to be the same fighter. Holyfield was in the decline. Foreman was on edge of retirement. So was Larry Holmes. So it's like, okay. But if you look at the '90s and look at where it is now, and so many years after that, '90s actually was one of the best era of heavyweights we've ever had.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a great era, to be
Yeah,
fair. And as you said, Eddie Futch, you had all these guys that could train people to fight, and what's happening now? You
I don't
know,
know. I guess it's just privileges. Inflation, things change. But at the same time, you still got to have the mentality of a fighter. Don't you have to understand what the reason why you have these big paydays is because of fans like you, fans like me. We pay
yeah,
your
yeah,
paychecks. We
yeah. I
want
do
to see
pay.
you entertain us. That's what we pay you to do. You know what I
It's.
mean? So go ahead.
I just hope this fight on Saturday lives up to its billing, man. I really
Yeah,
hope so because I don't know what's going to happen on that day. I think it's going to be a great fight, but I feel like I've been robbed of certain fights. I wanted to see AJ against Wilder. I
oh
personally
yeah,
think Wilder would have lanced that guy. I
oh
wanted,
yeah.
I
I,
wanted to, I want to see so many different fights over the years that, what's his name, Dillian White against Wilder. This big mouth, he would have got fucked up, bro.
Yeah, you know what? Look at, and I've said this too a long time ago. Yes, when you saw, I got a little ridiculed for saying this. I said, you know what? Yes, I'm a Wilder
Nah,
fan. I criticize him when I need to criticize him. If there's certain guys I know he can't beat, I'll tell you I don't think he can beat him. I don't think Wilder could beat Usyk. But I will tell you this: I
yeah.
said, look, before he fought Tyson Fury, before he took those losses, if you, I know Wilder was playing games with Dillian White, I get all that. But if you put those two in the ring, looking at it from a stylistic matchup, Wilder's knocking out White. White's not win. Is not going to
Yeah,
win that
that
fight. I'm
that that
sorry.
that's not even a fight, is it really? That fight's just a mismatch, bro.
It's a
It's
mismatch because
it,
Dillian just does not have good
yeah.
head movement. He's not going to get out of the way of that right hand. He's not. I'm sorry.
The
And
thing the thing with the thing
go
with
ahead.
Deontay, yeah, the thing with Deontay, he gets a lot of bad hate because of his sort of resume, but in terms
Yeah,
of entertainment, he's had what 10 WBC defenses. He
yeah,
lost to Fury, that was arguably he's one of the best fighters. He would beat AJ and he would beat Usyk. I don't think the Wilder story's dead yet. I don't think he's just dead in the water. It's just my problem with Wilder was his fans because they got so het up and so
yeah,
on his hype train. This sort of 2022 craziness.
yeah,
Listen, you have to. Everybody loves somebody. Like, if they're a role model for your particular culture or your race, or
yeah,
no issue with that. But listen, this is boxing, bro, and you can't. You have to be objective. And
yeah.
listen, Wilder had Fury fucked up in that last fight. I thought he was going to win that the third
Oh
one.
yeah, he was close. He came close in that fourth round,
Yeah,
particularly. But
yeah,
I'll
he
be
had
honest
him.
with
He
you,
had
there
him
was
wobbling again. He had him
yeah
again.
in
And
the
what
fifth
was
round.
it? It was fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, though? It's like, trust me, that fourth round, if Wilder had landed those punches early in that round, I think Fury would have been out of there. He
He
wouldn't have
wouldn't have
survived
got
that
up.
round.
He
Yeah,
wouldn't
he
have
would
got
not have
up. He
survived that
wouldn't have
round.
got up.
Yeah, he would have
So,
been gone.
so,
But
so my opinion on Deontay is it is what it is. He needs to, like, I don't know who's fighting next. It's Helenius fight, but forget the
yeah,
Helenius.
I was going to talk about that real quickly. It's been announced today that he is fighting Robert Lanius. It's on over here in the States. It's Fox pay per view. I know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good comeback fight because Robert-Helenius is no slouch. He's not a tune-up as people want to make it out to be. No, he's not. He's not a tune-up. He's like a top 15, maybe top 8, 20 heavyweight at best. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's a good comeback fight. It's not like he's not fighting a tomato can. That's a good thing. And he's got, the undercard. They've announced one fight so far, which is Caleb Plant. He's coming back from the Canelo loss.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
fighting.
yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting Anthony Durrell. So, yeah, the card is looking good so far. It's going to be at New York in the Barclays Center. So, that's October 15th, 2 months from now. Yeah. So he's coming back. He's got his first fight after 1 year rest, which he needed because that was a bad beating. I'm not gonna put no front on it.
Terrible. It weren't terrible beating. I just think it was more he gassed in the 10th. I don't think he got beat down bad. I don't think it was a beating.
Well, let's just say this: it was a combination of a bad beating / him being gassed. Yeah, he was tired and he was taking punches at the same time. And I'm surprised he lasted for 11 rounds. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like Fury probably was sitting there like, what do I got to do to get this guy out of here? Fuck.
It was a 50-50 fight up until about the 8th round or 9th.
Yeah.
It was a 50-50 fight. I actually watched it. I thought, wow, that guy, he murked him. And I thought, Fury's not getting up. He got up, but yeah, man. I don't know. I sort of, Wilder's one of those people for me that if he's there, I sort of don't like him. But when he's not around, the heavyweight scene is garbage, bro.
Yeah, let's be fair. If Wilder's not in the picture or Joshua's not on the picture or even Tyson Fury, even though I don't like him a lot, unfortunately,
I don't like him either. I don't like Fury either, bro. I'm not a fan of him, bro.
But let me just say this though, man. It's like, him with all these shenanigans, it's like sometimes it's enough, dude. It's like, I know you got your issues outside the ring, which you've been known for. It's like it's always something with Tyson Fury that keeps coming up. That what makes people hate him.
I think he knows that his level's ahead of these guys. I think he knows that he's like that, but he drags fighters into mental warfare.
Yeah.
My take on him, well, Dillian White tried to do it, not speak to him. My take on Fury is you have to say to him, listen, you're crap, bro. You're a big fat blob. You can't move. You can't do. You have to give it him back, and if you can belittle him, I think you've got a chance with him.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? The only guy who can belittle him and he doesn't have to say much is Alexander Usyk. That's why
I think Joshua. I think Joshua can belittle him as well.
Yeah, he can. He can.
Oh yeah, big time, because that is a fight in the UK, which is a massive fight, and I don't think Usyk can bully him. I think Fury would be shit scared, even though Wilder would knock AJ out, which that is a given. I think Wilder would kill him. But styles make fights, and I think Fury would be scared to fight Joshua, bro. I think he would be. He knows that the whole country is going to be watching. He's going to be scared of that fight.
Yeah. I mean that's a decent point right there, man. Decent point, but yeah. I mean, even though the heavyweights, I'm not saying they haven't performed below expectations, but we're still getting good fights either way. But the problem is that it's taking so long. It's like it's being stretched out too long. They should have been made when the demand was there. Like, for example, with Wilder and Joshua when they were undefeated, both champions. That fight should have been made right there when they were at their peak. But now they took them back-to-back loss. I mean, they taking bad losses. Now Joshua's going into a rematch against a guy who many people don't believe he can beat, including myself. So it's like if he takes a loss again, not saying his career is over. He's still got plenty, he's got many lot to offer, but his value will decline though. And again, it goes back to the fact that Joshua has regressed over the years. After that, I would say after the Klitschko fight, he's regressed. So and speaking of that, I'm gonna read this comment real quickly. Shout out to JPM in the chat.
I'm gonna dip, bro. So I'm gonna go. Okay. So have a nice night, bro. Have a nice night.
You too, man. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. You're welcome anytime. All right.
Yo, so appreciate you having me on, bro. Look after yourself, bro. Look after yourself.
All right, you too, man. Anytime. Take care. Yeah, shout out to JP in the chat, man. JPM. He says, I give Wilder plenty of shit, but the level he reached considering his late start is pretty amazing. Yeah, what's funny, though? Wilder, not a good technical fighter, but he's got athleticism that bails him out. And he's got speed. He's got agility if he's at the right weight. But no, going back at his amateur career, though it was short, a little bit shorter than AJ, because AJ had over 50 amateur fights and Wilder had about 45, 40 plus. Wilder was a national amateur champion, and he beat Isaiah Thomas, not the basketball player, but Isaiah Thomas, who himself was a very good amateur on the domestic level. Wilder wasn't supposed to win that fight, and no one gave him a chance to win it, as I recalled. And trust me, I keep an eye on the amateur scene over the years. Wilder beat that guy, and it's kind of like AJ when he beat what's that Italian? I forgot his name. He beat him in the European Nationals. It's kind of like that situation where AJ was inexperienced and he wasn't supposed to beat that guy who was overall experienced in the amateurs. It's similar to what Wilder did on the national scene as an amateur, and it came back and he became a bronze medalist, in the Olympics that year. So yeah, for a guy who started very late to achieve so much in a short time span as a novice boxer, especially in the amateur ranks, yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yes, world level, he's gotten better, even though the opposition is not what we accustomed to. But the least I could say though, he developed his skills a little bit better. Now, when he fought, top for competition, yes, he's the performances are mixed. Because that's what happens when you step up in the level of competition. But I know some people are going to argue that his resume is padded, which there's an argument there. But yeah, so yeah, just to go into a little bit, Robert Helenius, Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius is announced for October 15th, Fox pay per view. I know it's not a pay per view worthy fight, but given the fact that Wilder's last 4 fights are on pay per view. Well, actually, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Last 3 fights are on pay per view. 4 of his last 5 fights are on pay per view. Wilder, pretty much any fight that he's involved in, he's going to be on pay per view going forward. Now, as far as buy rates is concerned, I would say at least 200,000, definitely over 200,000, close to 300,000, probably about 300,000 buys because heavyweights tend to do a lot better as far as buy rates than the lower weights. So historically. So I think this fight will probably do roughly around, I made mid 250s at best, probably close to 300,000. Speaking of Deontay Wilder, Eddie Hearn sends an offer to Deontay Wilder for an Anthony Joshua fight. Now, this is quite interesting here because Eddie Hearn in an interview, I think it was with Seconds Out, Radio Raheem, shout out to him, had said he asked him a question: should AJ lose, what is next for him? Eddie Hearn said, you know what? I would like to set up a Deontay Wilder fight. In fact, I even reached out to Shelly Finkel and offered them a deal, and they haven't gotten back to me. So I don't know what the particulars of that deal is. Obviously, it is a fight probably with Anthony Joshua, but knowing Eddie Hearn, he's going to want options on Deontay Wilder. So should Deontay Wilder agree to the fight and he beats Anthony Joshua, which even though he's taken some bad beatings, I still think that's that's a fight that Wilder's going to win. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's whoever lands first. But I think Wilder's going to get to Joshua before Joshua gets to him, as far as punching wise. So basically, what I'm getting at is that should Wilder beat Joshua hypothetically, Hearn's going to want options on Wilder, whereas he gets the right to promote his next 2 or 3 fights. So I think that's what that offer entails. Prize a lot of money, as Eddie Hearn says, and he desperately needs stars because the DAZN brand is declining. And if he could sign Wilder onto some options, the DAZN pay-per-view, that could help. It could help their pay-per-view brand here in the United States. So we'll see. I think they got to take care of Helenius first, and they'll probably go ahead and look at the deal right afterwards. So we'll see. We already talked about the media workout earlier today, so we don't need to go into that. Lastly, Lomachenko returns. Vasily Lomachenko arrived back in the United States yesterday, early in the afternoon. He arrived at LAX, which is Los Angeles International Airport, where I'm from. And he said that he wants to be undisputed at lightweight. So indirectly, he's called out Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney responded to that. So obviously, Devin Haney's got to take care of George Kambosos in the rematch, which he's expected to do. But we haven't even got an official date on that yet. So hopefully we can get that underway. But if not, then I think it's best to just, for Kambosos to go his separate way because I don't see him beating Devin Haney. And that's probably why it's taking so long to announce that rematch. and because they're probably getting cold feet. The camp, Bosa's camp, that is. Devin Haney is going straight into the Lomachenko fight, but before Devin Haney can get a crack at Lomachenko is signed on supposedly, or actually supposedly, I think it's been announced already. Lomachenko is announced to fight Jermaine Ortiz. Now, Jermaine Ortiz is actually a lightweight prospect, and he's pretty good. He's actually fast. He's very fluid. He's got some great counterpunching ability, but my thing about Jermaine Ortiz is that he's got to learn to be, defensively sound. He's got to be better at that. So, and they have history together because Lomachenko has had Jermaine Ortiz in several sparring camps, so he knows him very well. I know some people don't like the idea of professional fighters fighting guys who's been sparring partners for years. I mean, it is what it is. It happens all the time. Wasn't Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali sparring partner? Yeah, for many years before Larry Holmes fought him. I know that was a fight that should have never happened, but it is what it is. Deontay Wilder with Robert Helenius, I get the criticism there, given the fact that Helenius was in Wilder's training camp for the third Fury fight, and he's been in his training camps for other fights as well. So, yeah. And speaking of Deontay Wilder, going back into him again real quickly, just to deflect. Joe Joyce, he was spotted with Joe Joyce in one of his gyms in the training session in Vegas. I'm not sure why Joe Joyce is there. Maybe he brought in Joe Joyce to get him prepared for the Wilder fight momentarily, or he's just visiting. I don't know about that because Joe Joyce got a pay per view coming up against Joe Parker next month. So, yeah. By the way, there was an announcement on that. Amanda Serrano is fighting on that card. She's defending her title against, I think it's a unification at super featherweight. I forgot who she's fighting. Amanda Serrano is fighting. She's fighting Sarah Mahfoud. It's a unification bout. That's going to be on the Joe Joyce and Joe Parker undercard for Queensberry, which is kind of astonishing to me because I thought Frank Gorn didn't want nothing to do with women's boxing. So, I guess sometimes you can't never say never, right? Other than that, yeah, I think that's all we have to cover. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys. I appreciate you guys for standing in. I know it's late. Shout out to Tony Reviews and everybody else, Mala, Hamed, Dwayne, the new guy that came in JPM. All you guys, the Fight Doctor, Percy Bedford. So yeah, I want to go ahead and MG and DGO who came in momentarily. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.